located on Treaty 20 Mississauga territory and in the traditional territory of the Mississauga and Chippewa nations, collectively known as the Williams Treaties First Nations. We acknowledge the shared presence of Indigenous nations throughout the area and recognize its original Indigenous inhabitants as the stewards of its lands and waters since time immemorial. Good evening. My name is Liz Danielson, and I'll be your chairperson for tonight's hearing. I'd like to introduce you to the other members of the Land Division Committee, those being Bill Blakes from Minden Hills, Pat Kennedy from Dysart et al., and Bob Snyder from Highlands East. With us as well as our Director of Planning, Steve Stone, and our Secretary, Treasurer, and Senior Planner, Adam Kozlowski. This meeting is held through remote electronic participation in accordance with the Municipal Act 2001 as amended. The purpose of the hearing is to give each applicant or authorized agent the opportunity to discuss their application with the committee and to respond to written submissions which may have been received. It's also an opportunity for the committee to broaden their understanding of the application by asking questions. Members of the public who are participating virtually today may also make oral submissions to the committee. The procedure that we use is to hear the applications in the same order as they were received in our office. Our Secretary Treasurer will introduce each application, and our planner will provide a planning brief. Each speaker must state their full name for the record and provide their mailing and email address to the Secretary Treasurer, which may have already been done, in order to receive a copy of the notice of decision. So we'll move into, could I have a mover and a second? Oh, sorry, I must ask if there's any declaration of pecuniary interest.
None from Bill.
Okay, hearing none, could I have a mover and a seconder to adopt the minutes of the July 11th meeting?
I'll move it.
Moved by Bill and seconded by Pat? Adam, sorry.
Sorry, Madam Chair, I think the first resolution is to adopt the agenda.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, could I have a mover and a seconder?
I'll move that too.
Bill, Bill Blakes and Pat, will you second that? Okay, seconded by Member Kennedy. We're off to a great start.
Be it resolved that the August 8th, 2022 Land Division Committee agenda be hereby approved.
All in favor?
Aye.
All in favor? That's carried.
Aye.
Okay, now could I have a mover and a seconder to adopt the minutes of July the 11th?
I'll do it again.
Moved by Member Blakes and seconded by Member Kennedy.
Be it resolved that the minutes of the Land Division Committee meeting held July 11th, 2022 be approved as printed and circulated.
All in favor?
All right.
That's carried. So we will move into the applications for consent that we received this evening. The first being Shipman. If you would like to give us your report.
Sure. Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm just going to share a screen and walk committee very briefly through the application.
Okay.
Once the host allows me access. Okay. And the trust committee can see the sketch in front of them.
Yep.
Okay. So this application 28-22 Shipman involves we'll call it a backlot property and a shoreline property. The Shipman lands are highlighted in yellow, and it is a merged parcel. There was a little bit of correspondence previously that there wasn't certainty whether this part over here was part of the subject lands. We've since gotten that all cleared up. So the Shipman property is highlighted in yellow, and the proposal is to convey a part of the Shipman lands to this waterfront parcel here. And the reason for this is that the waterfront parcel currently has a parking and driveway area and a little bit of storage, which is actually on the Shipman lands. So this application will correct that encroachment, which we'll call it, and enhance this shoreline lot. It'll be increased from 0.32 acres to 1.31 acres. No new lots being created. Just some site photos. So this car parking here in this pop-up kind of storage tent trailer is actually, this is part of the shoreline lot. However, it is on the Shipman lands, hence the application. So again, just showing the driveway access and the parking and storage area that would be conveyed and then part of the shoreline lot.
So the driveway access is also on the land that's being conveyed.
Yes, it comes up through, and I'll show you on the sketch up here. Yeah, the driveway comes up out of the bush up here, comes down on the Shipman lands, and then kind of meanders into the shoreline area. But where you saw the pictures of those cars is basically on the Shipman lands. So this will correct that encroachment issue. So staff have reviewed this application against the policies. We have no objection. Minden Hills Council has endorsed the application, and staff recommend approval subject to the conditions in the staff report. And I'd be happy to answer any questions. Thank you.
Are there any questions from the committee on the application?
Not from Bill.
Okay, and we have no one presenting on this particular application.
That's correct. Nobody in attendance for this one.
All right. Well, if there are no questions, it seems pretty clear cut. Could I have a mover and a seconder to move this application forward? Member Snyder, second by Member Blakes.
Be it resolved that the Land Division Committee of the County of Haliburton received the report related to application for consent H02822 Shipman, and that the Land Division Committee of the County of Haliburton grant provisional approval of application for consent H028-22 Shipman, subject to the conditions outlined in the staff report. And Member Kennedy.
Yay.
Member Snyder.
Yay.
Member Blakes.
Yes.
And Chair Danielson.
Yay. That's carried. Thank you. So we will move on to the next application, which is Shearer for a lot addition.
And once again, committee, I'll share screen and walk very briefly through the application. And I believe there will also be a presentation from the agent.
Okay.
The application proposes a lot addition, and everything in red that's outlined here, it's a large vacant bush lot, and this parcel is going to be added to this shoreline lot on Hawkins Trail. And as a result, this green lot, or the benefiting lands, will be increased in size from 1.75 acres to just over 31 acres. No new lots being created, and we didn't receive any correspondence in regard to this application. And I just wanted to show a couple of site pictures. Sorry. So this photo is basically looking south from the boundary of the shoreline lot, looking into the bush, and this is all part of the land that'll be conveyed to the shoreline lot. This is just showing the trail coming in, private road. And then this is the cottage on the property to be enhanced, and the property was posted in accordance with the Planning Act. So staff have reviewed the application against policies. Local township has endorsed the application, and staff recommend approval subject to conditions in the report. And I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Does the committee have any questions?
Oh,
Pretty straightforward.
So this doesn't add like any opportunity for another shoreline lot to be developed in the future?
No, the answer is no. The property, the green lot that you saw on the sketches is already developed. And as you know, you can only have one cottage on a lot. So, and that shoreline lot, I don't think it can be subdivided. It doesn't have enough frontage. The applicant indicated that there's no plans here to do that. And actually this application in consultation with the next application we're going to hear is actually going to result in one lot ceasing to exist. We're going to go from 3 lots to 2 lots.
Okay, and I understand that we have Melissa Markham here to present on this application.
That's correct. I'll allow her to talk now.
Good evening, Chair, Committee. Can everybody hear me?
Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you. Good evening. I guess I was looking at presenting for both the applications at the same time, but I will just keep my presentation short and just touch on the application. It sounds like there's no questions. So my name is Melissa Markham. I'm a planner with Marie Poirier Planning and Associates, and I'm acting on behalf of the owner of the property with regards to the application. My address is 44 King William Street, Unit A, Huntsville, Ontario, P1H1G3. I think that Adam's provided a great overview of the application for this first application for H3122. As stated, the owners are applying to sever a property, which is known as 1160 Hawkins Trail, in order to provide lot additions. At this point, I'll just speak to the first one. What we're looking at here is 1158 Hawkins Trail, which the owner is the owner of the back lot as well. That would be Mark Shearer. The effect of the application is that the subject lands will be divided into 2 parcels and added to the abutting lots. As Adam had mentioned, the result will be removing 1 legally conveyable parcel of land and increasing the area of the 2 benefiting lots. The subject lands that we're looking at tonight has no frontage other than on a right-of-way known as Hawkins Trail. So 1158 Hawkins Trail is currently 1.7 acres with 45 meters of shoreline frontage, contains a dwelling and a dock as shown in the pictures. As I mentioned, no new lots being created through the application. It will essentially serve to improve the benefiting lots, and no developments being proposed through this application. To answer the chair's question with regards to any new shoreline lots, as Adam mentioned, this is essentially removing the potential for an additional dwelling on that rear property, and it'll be joined with 1158 Hawkins Trail. So I'll keep my comments on the other application until Adam goes over H39, but I'm happy to answer any questions anybody might have on this application. Thank you.
Do members of the committee have questions of the planner?
Nope.
Okay, hearing none, then could I have a mover and a seconder to move this application forward?
I'll move it.
Member Blakes and Member Kennedy, thank you.
Be it resolved that the Land Division Committee of the County of Haliburton receive the report related to application for consent H-03122 Shearer, and that the Land Division Haliburton grant provisional approval of application for consent H-031-22 Shearer, subject to the conditions outlined in the staff report. Member Kennedy.
Yay.
Member Snyder.
Yay.
Member Blakes.
Yay.
And Chair Danielson.
Yay. That's carried. So we will move on to the second file with respect to this application. If you'd like to present that, Adam.
Sure. And again, I'll just share screen and very briefly walk committee through. So this application involves the other portion of the subject lands being 1160 Hawkins, and it will be this red outlined parcel being added to the green parcel here, which is a shoreline lot. So as a result, this shoreline lot in green will be increased in size from half an acre to 4.72 acres, and no new lot will be created. Just some site pictures. Oops. So this is just the bush area in behind, and basically I'm standing on the benefiting lot looking across Hawkins Trail, and this forested area will be conveyed to the shoreline lot. Just another view from the subject lands. And this thing. Okay, yeah, and that's it for the photographs. So staff have reviewed this application, have no objections, subject to the provisions in the planning report, conditions in the planning report, and recommend approval. And I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Do the committee members have any questions about this application?
No.
No. I'm just wondering, Adam, about your comment that this will, instead of there being 3 lots, there will be 2. Can you just clarify that?
Sure. I'll go back to the larger picture here. I'll share screen again. So right now the property, there's 3 properties involved. The first one, I don't know if you can see my cursor moving.
Yep.
So this is one shoreline lot in green. The other one I just mentioned is this shoreline lot over here in green.
Right.
And the back lot is this entire piece here plus this piece. So we have 3 lots. And what's going to happen is basically this vacant bush lot is going to be divided. Approximately 1/4 of it is going to go to this property here at 1130, and then the remainder of it is going to go to 1158, which is over here. So right now there are 3 parcels, and as a result of this application, we'll wind up with basically 2 larger shoreline lots, and this back lot will cease to exist.
Okay. Thank you for that. Melissa, did you have any additional comments that you wanted to make about this second part of this?
Thank you, Chair. So I just was going to touch on the points with regards to that property on the shoreline lot, but once again, thank you for having me tonight. I think Adam provided a great overview of the application. Once again, this is looking at adding 3 acres of that larger back lot to 1130 Hawkins Trail. I think, it was covered well in terms of it's a 0.5 acre lot with 30 meters of shoreline frontage containing a dwelling and a dock. Once again, no new lots being created. This will just add additional lot area to the existing lot on the shoreline. But once again, I'm here to answer any questions, and I'll keep it brief. Thank you.
Any further questions on this application?
No.
Hearing none, could I have a mover and a seconder to put the motion on the floor? Member Snyder and Member Blakes, thank you.
Be it resolved that the Land Division Committee of the County of Haliburton receive the report related to application for consent H-039-22 Shearer, and that the Land Division Committee of the County of Haliburton grant provisional approval of application for consent H-039-22 Shearer, subject to the conditions outlined in the staff report. Member Kennedy.
Yay.
Member Snyder.
Yay.
Member Blakes.
Yay.
And Chair Danielson.
Yay. That's carried.
Thank you very much, committee. Have a great night.
Thank you, you too. So the next application is Casimir Chuck. I think hopefully I've pronounced that correctly, for a lot addition in Dysart et al.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm just bringing up the materials here. They've disappeared from my screen. And I'll share screen again. So this application is for I'll call it a very minor boundary adjustment. And it's between 2 shoreline properties on Eagle Lake. And we'll focus on this application first. The land area is 108.7 square meters, which is just a little over 1,100 square feet of land. And this parcel is proposed to be conveyed to the lot next door at 1095 Atomic. And the reason is that there's a garage and a propane tank that are currently over the lot line slightly. And this boundary adjustment will correct that encroachment. I'm just going to show some pictures. Just while we're on the topic here, Dysart has endorsed the application. So the property was posted in accordance with the Planning Act. And this photo is just showing the location of the garage and the propane tank. And this is a survey stake, so you can see it is over the lot line by a little bit. And again, just looking towards the neighboring cottage where this land will be conveyed to, and there's the stake, and just showing the propane tank location. So this is just a SketchUp I did. It's not to scale, it's just conceptual to show what this boundary adjustment will achieve. But there'll basically be just under 12 feet of space between the building and the new lot line, which should kind of wrap around the building over here to the north. South right now, the property boundary is approximately here on this red dashed line. It will be moved over this way and then kind of go around the propane tank and around the garage and then hook back in to meet up with the property line to the east. Staff have reviewed this against the applicable policies. We have no objection. Dysart Council has endorsed this application. We recommend approval subject to the conditions in the staff report, and I'd be happy to answer any questions committee has. Thank you.
Do the committee members have any questions of on the planning report? Member Snyder?
Thank you, Chair. Just a quick question. Do you know how long the encroachment has existed?
Through you, your worship, I don't know off the top of my head, but I believe Sue Harrison is here and she may have that answer for us during her presentation.
Okay, if you want to bring Sue Harrison in.
Madam Chair, I've asked her to speak.
Good evening, the chair and committee members. Yeah, I think Adam has pretty much covered what the application is about. The garage, I think, was built in 2018. It's a fairly recent addition. It was built with a building permit, but there was unfortunately an encroachment. The one thing I would like to mention is that the part of the conditions include seeking a minor variance because the area that goes around the garage is not adequate to meet the minimum lot line setback for the interior side. It's 3.5 instead of 4.5. And that happened because the agreement of the areas to exchange hands happened before I was brought on board. So, and I gather it took them a little bit of time to come to the agreement, and there wasn't a big appetite to change the areas. So the minor variance was the solution that everybody's agreed on. So, but I'm happy to answer any other questions you may have.
Well, it's always nice when everybody can finally agree on things.
It is.
Member Snyder.
Thank you. So the lot that is gaining the red section is losing the blue section. Is its lot frontage still complying?
Yes, yeah, that's not a problem. The lots are a pretty good size. His frontage actually on 1095, it kind of wraps around the lake. So he has quite a bit of frontage on the lake. So, but yeah, that's not an issue.
Any other questions?
Nope.
No, Sue answered the one about the minor variance that I had, so that's good.
Could I have a mover and a seconder then to approve this application? Member Kennedy and Member Snyder.
Be it resolved that the Land Division Committee of the County of Haliburton received the report related to application for consent H-035-22 Kazmierczuk, and that the Land Division Committee of the County of Haliburton grant provisional approval of application for consent H-035-22 Kazmierczuk, subject to the conditions outlined in the staff report. Member Kennedy.
Yay.
Member Snyder.
Yay.
Member Blakes.
Yay.
And Chair Danielson.
Yay. That's carried. So that takes us into the other part of this application by Flotner.
Okay. So this application pertains to the lot next door to the east. and we're on Eagle Lake again. And this application will convey 91 square meters, which is just under 1,000 square feet of this triangle piece from the Flottner property to the Kazmierchuk property. And this is to basically affect we'll call it a land swap, so that the lot areas are basically staying the same, plus minus 200 square feet. The application was endorsed by Dysart Council, and I'll just go down to some photos. Sorry, here's some sketches. I should have shown these before, but this is just showing the garage encroachment in this case, and then the land area down here that's going to be conveyed through this application. Okay, so property was posted in accordance with the Planning Act. And again, this is not to scale, but it's just to give committee a visual of the lands to be conveyed. So I'm standing about 60 feet back from the water's edge, and there is a survey monument over here that I was able to capture in the photo and just kind of run the proposed lot line back. So this is approximately the area that we're talking, but it's a very minor, it's a small area to be conveyed to the lot next door. So again, we've reviewed this one in accordance with planning policies, and we have no objection. Recommend approval subject to the conditions in the staff report. Thank you.
Thank you. And Sue, did you have anything that you wanted to add?
Thank you, Chair. No, I don't. I think Adam has done a great job covering it. It seems fairly straightforward.
Yeah, it does. Any further questions from the committee members? Member Kennedy and then Member Snyder.
So just the shoreline road allowance, is there any effect on with the change in the benefiting property, or is it above the shoreline road allowance area? That was all. I'm not sure what the status is. But
it is above the shore road allowance.
So it's no issue. Okay, thank you.
Right.
And Member Snyder.
Yeah, so thank you. My question was similar about the shore road allowance, whether it had been purchased or not. Does there need to be any inclusion that the lot line needs to be included across the shore road allowance so that it's clear where it is?
Through you, Madam Chair. So one of the conditions will be that a reference plan is prepared, and we will review that reference plan at the time to make sure it matches the application.
Okay, and I think what the standard procedure is, once the new lot line is established, there's a straight line projection from the lot line out across the shore road allowance. Okay, if there are no further questions, could I have a mover and a seconder to approve this application? Member Kennedy, seconded by Member Snyder.
Be resolved that the Land Division Committee of the County of Haliburton receive the report related to application for consent H-036-22 Flottner, and that the Land Division Committee for the County of Haliburton grant provisional approval of application for consent H-036-22 Flottner, subject to the conditions outlined in the staff report. Member Kennedy.
Yay.
Member Snyder.
Yay.
Member Blakes.
Yay.
And Chair Danielson.
Yay. That's carried. Thank you, Ms. Harrison.
Thank you. Good evening.
Same to you. Okay, our final application for the evening is Milovanovic for a lot addition in Minden Hills.
And I believe maybe if Mr. Stone is April Serreris in the waiting room?
Yes, yes.
Okay, perfect. So committee, I'm going to do a very quick walkthrough, and April is here to do a presentation as well.
Okay, thank you.
So this application is going to convey 9.5 acres from the existing shoreline lot to a benefiting lot next door at 1256 Morgan Trail. And I'll just show the severance sketch here. So currently, sorry, we are on Davis Lake. And currently this red backlot area is part of this blue parcel at 1030 Disc Drive. And as a result of the application, this red backlot area will be conveyed to 1256 Morgan Trail. So this yellow lot will be enhanced in size, and the 1030 will retain its size as shown in blue. So there's no new lot being created. Both of these lots are previously developed with cottages, so no new lots, no new shoreline lots, no new cottages. I have some pictures here just kind of showing the forested area, not too much to see, but this is the driveway that was going into 1030 Disc Drive. Property was posted in accordance with the Planning Act, and I think that's it for the photos. Oh, and this is the photo. This is just showing the bush area that's going to be conveyed from 1030 over to 1256. So again, we've reviewed this in accordance with the policies of the county. Local township has endorsed it, and we recommend approval subject to the conditions in the staff report, and I'd be happy to answer any questions. Thank you.
Member Kennedy.
Yeah, I'm a little bit confused with the address of not Disc Drive, but the Morgan Trail. The Morgan Trail doesn't look, it goes to 1256. Do they access it off Disc, or? Because my second question then is, with conveying that land to 1256 and 1030 is on Disc Drive, which is obviously a private road, is access to the other adjoining lots 1017 and 1046 still maintained, or does it need to be a new agreement drawn up? Just those two lots north there where that Disc Drive goes, I can understand where the 1030 gets their driveway, but what is the deal, I guess, with Disc Drive and accessing those other lots to the north, according to this map?
Yeah, sorry, through you, Madam Chair, I'll share a screen again and show an air photo. It might make sense here to see it. So the subject lands, so 1030 Disc Drive is here in green, and its driveway comes off of Disc, which kind of comes up here and accesses, there's a few shoreline lots up here. So its driveway where I took that picture comes in here, and then it goes down to the cottage. Morgan Trail, which is the yellow lot, its driveway access comes through here. So it has a Morgan Trail address, but the laneway is a fair ways off of Morgan. And so this, in the air photo, there's a driveway here for this cottage, and then the only driveway that I see for this property is here through the bush. So conveying this red area to 1256 is not going to create any access issues for these properties here or the ones to the north, because they come in off Disc, if that makes sense.
It does, thank you.
But there must be easement agreements with respect to there's 3 accesses across the parcel that's being transferred. Would the access agreements automatically transfer as well?
So when a property when a shoreline lot has a right of way, if the property's upstream of it, let's say, change configuration, the right of way stays with that shoreline lot. So we don't have to redo any right of ways here.
Does that answer your question, Pat? Are there other questions of the planner's report? Member Snyder. You're on mute.
Yeah, that's what Zoom's telling me too. So the red lot is an undersized lot at 23 meters. Is that correct?
Sorry, I'll share screen again. So this is the green lot here that's conveying all of this red area.
Sorry,
to
the green lot, yeah.
Yeah, so there's no change to this frontage proposed. It's just the area of the lot that will be decreasing, but it'll be decreasing back to what it was prior to these lands merging. So there's no change to the zoning. And I believe the the Minden Hills zoning bylaw, or the official plan, has a policy that deals with existing undersized lots. And I don't think that the local municipality had any conditions. I don't think they had any conditions regarding zoning. I can double check that.
So I guess the other question I have is, one of the reports alluded to lot coverage, but never actually spelled out what the lot coverage was. Do you know what the lot coverage on the green lot is?
I don't, but I will defer that question to April if she has it in her presentation.
Any other questions on the planning report? Okay, if Ms. Serreris is present, we will ask her to come in and give her report.
Good evening, Chair and Committee. Can you hear me?
Yes?
Perfect. My name is April Best-Serreris, and I'm a senior planner for Marie Poy Planning and Associates. We're located at 44 King William Street, Unit A in Huntsville, Ontario, P1H1G3. So thank you, committee, for taking the time to hear this application today and allowing us the opportunity to provide our professional opinion. I'd like to thank Mr. Kozlowski for your presentation. You've covered the majority of it, so I'll keep my presentation brief. But we do concur with staff's recommendation for provisional approval, and the conditions of approval has been put forward. So as Adam had mentioned, the purpose of this application is to sever a portion of the subject lands at 1030 Disk Drive, which are owned by my client, David Milovanovic, and then add to the adjacent benefiting lands at 1256 Morgan Trail in the ownership of Jean Milovanovic, which is placed in trust to my client. The subject property is currently comprised, or was previously comprised of 3 different parcels, and it's important to note that they had inadvertently merged on title. So essentially, the proposed lot addition only serves to alter the configuration of the lots that are involved and does not propose to recreate any of these parcels. So they're essentially just adjusting the lot lines, and it will result in 1 retained lot and 1 resultant benefiting lot with additional lot area. I know there was discussion previously, but it is important to note that the subject application does not propose any changes to the existing access over the existing road, which traverses the land, and any sorts of right-of-way would continue to be in place. Even nothing's changing, but essentially it would continue to be in place. The subject and benefiting lands are currently developed with shoreline residential uses, with private individual septic systems and water supply from Davis Lake, similar to much of the surrounding lands along the lake. Other residential properties in the area appear to be of similar size and frontage to the subject and benefiting lands, and the existing uses will continue, ensuring compatibility with the rural and waterfront landscape. The severed lands proposed to be added to the benefiting lands are currently vacant. I know you touched upon essentially the fact that retained parcel will be deficient in lot area. Since the lot was previously undersized, it was previously those 3 lots that inadvertently merged on title. The lot area proposed to remain with the retained parcel will essentially be the same. It'll actually be slightly increased because it is taking a portion of one of those lots that merged. And essentially, these are existing non-complying lots and are both currently developed. So the Township of Minden Hills did indicate again, that these are non-complying lots that are existing, and that lot coverage was not an issue, and there was no proposal or no condition essentially to rezone these lands, as they recognize that it was an existing situation prior to these 3 lots merging. And again, we're just recreating this 1 retained parcel and then adding those 2 additional parcels to the benefiting lands. So overall, the proposed lot addition only serves to alter the configuration of the lots involved, doesn't propose or create any new developable parcels, and no construction of buildings or structures are proposed, which would require site alteration or vegetation removal. So it's our opinion that the proposed lot addition is appropriate for the subject and surrounding lands, conforms to the county and township official plan, and meets the intent of the zoning bylaw, and represents good planning. So we kindly request that committee support staff's recommendation for provisional approval, and I'm happy to answer any additional questions you may have at this time. Thank you.
I'm not sure in your presentation whether I heard the response to the question that what the percent coverage of the retained lot is going to be now, if there's a change in percent coverage, and if that might be a concern.
Yeah, so the lot coverage, like I mentioned, is actually going to be slightly decreased because it is keeping a portion of. It's kind of challenging without the visual. Maybe Adam can bring that up, but essentially there is a sliver parcel that my clients had purchased, and that resulted in those 3 lots merging on title when they became under the same ownership. So that retained parcel is actually retaining a portion of that little sliver parcel, and so essentially the lot coverage is actually decreasing slightly. So again, the Township of Minden Hills didn't indicate any concerns with the lot addition or lot coverage, given that they have these provisions in their zoning bylaw that deal with these undersized lots. And again, they recognize it was existing, and it is actually increasing a little bit in lot area as a result of this application. Oh, there we go. Yeah, so essentially there's parcels A, C, and D. When my clients purchased parcel C, that little sliver in between A and D, it caused A, C, and D to merge on title. So what they're proposing to do is actually the retained parcel is going to be the entirety of parcel A and then a sliver of parcel C. So as you can see, it's actually increasing a little bit in lot area and then as a result, decreasing a little bit in the lot coverage. It is close to the maximum, but it is luckily decreasing a little bit in terms of the lot coverage.
So when you look at the percent coverage of lot A, previously the percent coverage did not take into consideration the area of parcel D?
Correct. Yeah, they were 3 separate parcels, A, C, and D. Yeah.
Yeah, and sorry, through you, Madam Chair, I think maybe if I can show, I'm going to zoom in a little bit here. So if you can see this light brown line here, parcel A, as April was saying, parcel A actually used to end here. And then through this boundary adjustment, this sliver here is going to go to parcel A, which will result in a greater lot area and therefore a slight decrease in coverage. If that,
okay, that small sliver of part of C does not, that was not clear on the drawing.
okay, yeah. So yeah, this part here will go to A and then the remainder of C and D will merge with B. Sorry, I'm getting a tornado warning here.
Sorry.
So we just got one in Minden and it looks like pretty miserable outside there.
Okay, any further questions of April on this? Member Snyder?
Yeah, so the question on lot coverage, so we've got an undersized frontage lot. We've got a lot that we're not being told what the lot coverage is, and there still exists, there is an opportunity, if the lot coverage is over, there is still an opportunity here to adjust the lot lines so that the lot coverage is appropriate. And then that addition would also help the fact that it's a small frontage lot. So we're not being given the information to assess this properly.
I can't disagree.
Just going to share a screen again here. So with respect to the frontage for 1030, so this is the existing undersized lot. All of the areas that we're dealing with are all kind of the back lot areas. So there's no change here. Just to clarify, Member Snyder, for modifying or including frontage, I don't think there's a possibility here through this application, the way it's set up. This piece of land here going to lot A will increase the lot area, but yeah, it sounds like, I don't know what the lot coverage is. I don't have the number in terms of percentage, but adding land area will reduce it mathematically, but I can't tell you what the actual number is. I don't have a site plan or a survey of this property.
So
Through you, Madam Chair, I'm just trying to read the report from the consultants in Minden Hills, but somehow my files become corrupt. You probably can't see it.
Okay.
I don't know if yours is the same. I can't really see what they're recommending. There is some dimensions there of lot area, lot frontage, etc. I don't know if anybody there's got a better copy.
But not lot coverage, percent coverage.
Yeah. Or lot area, sorry.
I'm just going to try to find the original PDF. And April, if you have that information handy, feel free to jump in.
Certainly, yes. So when we were looking at the application and putting together our proposal, we don't have a survey plan at this time, but when we did some general measurements in terms of aerial imagery, like I said, it was right around the maximum, but it didn't seem to be above the maximum permitted lot coverage. Again, through consultation with the Township of Minden Hills, there was no concerns that were raised in regards to the lot coverage or the resultant lot area and frontage. Again, the fact that it was an existing parcel prior to actually 2016 when these parcels merged. So it isn't aggravating the existing situation. like I said, that was already there. And based on the configuration of the retained and the benefiting parcel, it did make the most sense to continue that lot line again, kind of dividing that small sliver of property in half and then retaining that back parcel and essentially just switching the ownership from the retained parcel to the benefiting parcel. So really it's just a slight change in lot configuration. And again, not aggravating the existing situation that existed prior to 2016 when those lots inadvertently merged through being under the same ownership. So it's quite technical in nature in terms of just a slight reconfiguration of those lot lines.
Go ahead, Member Snyder.
Oh, thank you. Just to be clear, we're not looking at the 2016 situation. We are looking at the 2022 situation where we have a low frontage lot with a large backlot section. I still query whether the opportunity is there to give that small lot more land area so that the lot coverage, which we don't know, is appropriate. Thank you.
Well, I do. Go ahead, Steve.
Well, the remedy, if the committee is interested in that information, could be deferred until next meeting to allow that staff and the agent to get that information to address the committee's concerns.
That might be an option that we would look at. However, I do believe that we have others who wish to speak to this application. I don't know whether they are in favor or opposed to the application. So do we have anyone waiting in the wings to speak to us? Because there's 3 names that I was given of people who.
That's right, and none of them are in attendance.
Yep.
Okay. Do you have any knowledge of whether they were speaking in support or opposed to the application? I guess if they're not here, it's not relevant.
Yeah.
Adam?
Madam Chair, the one piece of correspondence that I forwarded to you, that individual requested to withdraw her request to speak. And then the other 3 who I suspect were associated with her, they didn't show up to the meeting. So the only concern at that time was the road access and continued right of way, but it sounded like that person was going to go seek legal advice. But I made myself available if she wants to discuss it or with her solicitor. But we take the correspondence for what it's worth.
I still kind of wonder about the rights of way for the accesses across the property and as that parcel is changing hands, how that works.
Well, yeah, and again, this is one of those situations where if there's rights of way across existing properties, it's been my understanding that if lot lines are configured or properties are configured or reconfigured, that the right of ways live on, so to speak, for everybody downstream. In the case of that person who submitted the correspondence, her concern was that the road might have meandered onto her property, but it's unknown. And if that is the case, we would have to explore doing some additional right-of-ways wherever it meanders. But that's an unknown right now. And again, that really is a civil matter, being a private road between 2 private landowners. And again, my opinion was that it doesn't prejudice or hinder this boundary adjustment application.
Okay, so we're left with the question about whether or not the committee wishes to defer the application to clarify the issue of percent lot coverage and whether that could or might become an issue.
Yep.
And go ahead, Adam.
So Madam Chair, I found the section in the report here that talks about Minden Hills policy on changes in lot size. I'll just read it for the committee. Section 2.3, changes in lot size. So it says, no lot shall be changed in area, depth, or width, either by the conveyance of land or otherwise, so that the lot coverage exceeds the maximum permitted by this bylaw, or so that any existing or resulting lot area, dimension, or yard will be less than the minimum permitted. So in this case, the lot is actually increasing a little bit in size. And if there's an existing lot coverage issue, that exceeds the bylaw. It's existing. It would be covered under this provision. In my experience, when you have an undersized lot that maybe has a lot coverage issue, if we were going to further reduce 1030, I think it is Disc Drive, I think there would be a condition that they either rezone or do a variance. But in this case, because that lot's getting larger, it's not making a non-compliant situation worse. And that's echoed in Minden Hills' recommendations that they did not request a rezoning or a variance for this application. Thank you.
Does that resolve your concern, Member Snyder?
Not really. It's undersized on frontage. It's undersized on area. We don't know the lot coverage, and there is still an opportunity here to adjust the lot lines so that it complies on area and lot coverage, which we don't know.
Comments from the other members?
Through Madam Chair, I'm satisfied with Adam's explanation of the policies in Minden Hills.
Okay, Member Kennedy?
Yeah, I agree with Member Blake. Minden Hills has already commented on this and it's in compliance with their zoning and official plan. So,
okay, I personally, I can see that there's a little bit of concern in my mind, but because the titles or these lots merged on title, I think it's from the sounds of it mistakenly, that did pose part of the problem. So I guess what we'll do at this point, if there are no other questions, we'll go to a vote on the application.
Okay, be it resolved that the Land Division Committee of the County of Haliburton received the report related to application for consent H-037-22 Milovanovic, and that the Land Division Committee of the County of Haliburton grant provisional approval of application for consent H-037-22 Milovanovic, subject to the conditions outlined in the staff report.
Before we go to a vote, I'm sorry to interrupt, but before we go to a vote, if by chance, because this is a 4-member committee, 2 of us voted for and 2 of us voted against, it would be denied. And so I'm wondering if it mightn't be better to defer it so that we do have more clarification, just more information that would clear our minds, both mine and Member Snyder's. I'd rather us defer it than deny it and have the applicant have to go through this whole process again. Am I okay in my thinking there? Would the committee, because I think I'm going to vote in line with Member Snyder, which would create an application that's denied. So would the committee agree to deferring it for more information?
Through Madam Chair, yes, I would.
Okay, so do we just defer it, or do we need a resolution to defer?
Madam Chair, if you can just give me a moment, I'm going to just reword this resolution just to reflect the deferral.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Madam Chair, if I disappear, I'll be down in my basement hiding from the weather because we just got another alert.
Well, we're getting some wild weather, aren't we?
Oh God! Well, as to say, we got that tornado warning for Minden specifically, and a couple of the lakes around here. So,
Member Blake, if you start spinning around in your chair, we'll know you're in trouble.
yeah,
But he does that already.
He's keep looking out the window. Oh, it's a tornado. Minden, Arndale.
Oh, good. It's going south and east instead of north.
Oh, it's perfect for me. My home's in Minden and my cottage is in Arndale, so I could get a double whammy.
Okay,
Yeah, so, Madam Chair, I think what we can do is we'll just go with the original resolution, and I do have oh, sorry, let me back up a sec here. No, okay, so I'm sorry, I'm thinking about tornadoes. So,
just relax, take a deep breath.
yeah,
On your
okay,
desk.
take a drink. Okay, so I'll reread the resolution to defer. It's just going to be a general deferral. So be it resolved that the Land Division Committee of the County of Haliburton received a report related to application for consent H037-22 Milovanovic, and that the Land Division Committee of the County of Haliburton defer application for consent H-037-22 Milovanovic.
And if you could take that to the vote. Or should we,
Oh, sorry. Yes, I'll take that to the vote. So Member Kennedy,
Yay.
Member Snyder,
Yay.
Member Blakes,
Yay.
and Chair Danielson.
yay.
Okay.
So April, if you could see what information you could find out about actual percent lot coverage and how that impacts the application, that would be much appreciated.
Certainly. Thank you so much. Have a great evening.
Okay, you too.
Thanks.
So is there any other business that we need to consider this evening? Hearing none. I'm assuming that the date for our next committee meeting is still on the 12th of September, and we're all available for that.
Yep.
Okay, that's great. Could I have a motion to adjourn?
Bill.
Moved by Member Blake, seconded by Member Kennedy. All in favor?
Aye.
That's carried. Thank you, gentlemen.
Yeah, I'm out of here.
Okay, stay safe.
Bye.